demoing right now. So just give me 2 seconds up. I think everything is coming up right now. My apologies. It just would not allow me to log in, but now I'm good. Perfect. Hi.
Hi. Okay.
I was having technical difficulties. It kept trying to log me in, but not letting me.
Okay. I'm going to see
Oh, lovely to see you.
your voice is coming and going.
I'm getting a little feedback. I think, oh, this might sound clear now.
Yes, you're clear now. Am I clear?
Yes, you are. Perfect.
Some people have said that my computer is not loud enough, so I turned it off. I found out how to do that about an hour ago.
I think it's perfect. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm just going to share this on Facebook. And in the meantime, if everyone wants to tell us, first of all, hi. It was quite a day today. I had a seminar all day and it was an amazing event. So I'm just like still on a high from the day. Started at 7 this morning. Seminar was from 9 to 5. Still going strong. So I see that Jane is on here, Amal, Martina, Robin, Sylvie, Teresa, Rita. I hope I said that correctly. Welcome. Please do feel free to chat in the dialogue box. Let us know a little bit about yourself and your business. Maybe Sheila might have something to ask you that might help with communication. Maybe what's your messy level from a 1 to 10?
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm going to share in the meantime. Just give me 1 second. Just trying to get it together.
Should I turn the volume down, maybe?
Let us know if you're hearing us well. Just give me a second. I'm just going to try to go live.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hearing feedback and someone else is saying it's low. So what? That's both ends of the spectrum.
Perfect. So I'm going live right now. And yes, there is a little bit of feedback. I hope.
Should I turn down the volume on my speakers or on my audio?
And I'll see what I can do on mine. Too much noise and crackling. There's a low feedback background noise. One second. Sorry about that all. I'm just going to. Okay. How about now?
Yes. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. I was just trying to figure out how to make the feedback stop. So,
have we done it?
Everyone, can you hear us? Can you please type in the chat box if it's Sheila, do you want to try to switch to a headphone? Maybe that might help.
I don't have headphones actually. Just a second. I think there's something I can do. Wait a minute.
Okay. I feel like that's good.
Is that okay?
Oh, nope. Now we hear. It's like it's off and on.
Oh, okay. Let's just see if I go into the control panel and sound. I don't know. Control, hardware and sound, and I will turn sound, adjust the volume of the system. I will turn Speakers down. Is that better? Is that sounding any better with less feedback?
For me, it is. Let's see. If you could continue to speak and see if it's...
Okay, testing it so that I turned it down a little to see whether or not that actually helps with the feedback.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
All right. We can rock and roll. So, welcome everyone. Hi, Sue. I can hear you, but some feedback from Sheila. Dwayne, you're clear. Let's hope the feedback is not too much where you can actually, you'll actually be able to hear Sheila. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen so that you can see Sheila's presentation, and I am going to give Sheila the floor and we'll go back and forth. I'll interject when I have questions, and I'm very excited about this because I got home from the seminar and I started cleaning my office out of guilt. So I wanted to make sure I had a semi-clean office to start out with.
All right. Okay.
So let me share my screen. And
okay, can people let us know if there's too much feedback, and I will turn down the system again. But hopefully that's corrected a little bit. Okay. So thank you for inviting me to do this, Sonia. I'm really pleased to be here and to talk to people about this subject. This seminar is a merge of a number of things that I do, and some of it is, yes, thank you, Martina. Some of it is about space planning and organizing, and some of it is about mindset, and it's about all the intangible things that I've discovered are just as important in space as how we organize space. So it's a merge of a few things. I'm going to go at a fairly quick pace to try and cover a number of different things, and so that maybe I'm reading the notes here, which is really good for people to let us know. Hopefully that is better. Maybe I'm a little closer than, I'm not sure if that works. But anyway, so the title is 4 Ways to Boost Your Business Success with Your Workspace. And so we will start there. Next, please.
Yes, 1 second. I'm just trying to click the button. Go. There we go.
Okay. So there are 2 vital ways that I've discovered that you can really create a space that helps you to work better and be more productive. And that is to deal with the efficiency of the space that you're in, as well as to deal with your mindset, how you feel when you're working in your space. Next, please.
Sorry, there we go.
So, our research tells us that the physical workplace contributes to the organization and the quality of the work that you do. So in that sense, it's a work tool, just like a good chair is a work tool. The actual physical environment is a tool to your being optimum in your way of working. Also, it is a connection to motivation and how satisfied you feel being there and working. So that is how well you engage also with the work you have to do. So like the stamina that you have to stay with the task and the productivity you have in getting the task. Next, please. So we all want to have a workspace that's great, and so we ask ourselves, how do you get there? And these are the 4 things that I highlighted in the title. So one is to design a space that supports the activity you do the most often. And that might seem rather obvious, but it really isn't. A lot of people create a workspace that is just a desk and a chair and expect it to work well for everything that they do. So we'll tackle that. And the second is to create the right kind of storage. Storage is critical to organizing and eliminating clutter. And clutter is one of the biggest deterrents to efficiency. The third is to build in elements that inspire and motivate you so that you love being there and you like going to work. There's nothing worse than going to sit down at a desk that you absolutely hate to be at, that you're uncomfortable in, but also just because you don't really feel like you want to be there. And so the 4th one is not just to tackle how you feel being there, but to actually allow you to focus and to concentrate so that the space you work in helps that ability. And that's when the mindset piece comes in next. So we'll start with improving the efficiency with the physical environment and productivity. Next, please. Okay, so the question I ask is, what do you do in your workspace? What's your main function? And are you set up to do that comfortably and efficiently? So the questions to think about are, is there something that you need to change because you're not comfortable in what you're doing? Is there something that you can do to make it more effective when you're there working? And again, we'll go a little more depth. Next, please. So, do you have enough work surface for what it is that you actually work on? Do you have enough storage? And lighting is very important too, because if you can't see well, then as the day changes and as the light conditions change, your eye strain develops, and also you don't feel like you want to be there if the space is too dark, or if the space has glare, let's say, from a window that's too bright, then you're uncomfortable if you get too warm. Like, lighting affects both your situation, whether it's too much or too little. So analyzing where you are now then allows you to determine what do you need more of and what do you need less of. Or what's there that you're really not using, what surfaces or storage are you hardly ever opening that you can switch out for something that's going to actually help you there. Next, please.
Could you try turning down your mic a little bit? I think maybe that might help.
Okay.
Just turn down your mic.
Okay. Does that help? Is that okay? Are we still getting feedback?
I'm still hearing feedback,
yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then now it's stopped.
Oh, yeah. And how about just, no, there aren't any. I'm not near the airport. Wow. I'm not sure it is. I have no idea why that would be. Usually I'm told that people have trouble hearing me. I'm not loud enough with on my laptop, but I am actually speaking closer. I've never had the problem with feedback.
Maybe pull away from the mic and see if that might help, because sometimes it depends.
Okay. Does that help at all? No. Okay. Geez.
Okay, when it's off, it's good. Let's try and see, because sometimes you want to try logging out and logging back in.
Okay, I can do that. Sure.
Yeah. Close.
Okay, I'll do that.
Back to the and see if logging back in will help. Sorry, guys. We're going to try to fix this. I'm going to try to have her log back in and pick up where we left off. Technology. I can tell you yesterday I was supposed to do an Instagram live with the smart woman, and my phone kept booting me out, and then my phone decided to restart, and then we tried to do a Facebook live. It wouldn't work. And then we had to do it via Zoom and then share it on Facebook. So it has been quite a ride with technology this past couple of days. So the event was amazing, Amal. We had an amazing time today. I am exhausted, but I'm not allowed to be tired until about 9:10, 9:15 when all is said and done. So I believe Sheila is back in. Excellent.
I'm back.
All right, let's try and see if this will work.
Does it sound better now, or are you still having?
Let's see if when you speak, at least it's clearer, because there were. All right, let's try.
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you now. Oh my. Okay. So one of the questions I ask is when I'm working with somebody to find out what it is that they're doing most, as I mentioned, what's the main activity, rather than just setting up a sort of generic situation where there's a chair. So if reading is the main activity you do in your office, then perhaps a task chair that is very vertically upright is not the best place to spend your time sitting down, because you become uncomfortable and make it harder for you to focus and to stay with the task. If you are more comfortable reading in a more cushy chair, like the one up at the top of this slide, then that would be a better choice if you spend a lot of your day editing, let's say, and reading. Next, please.
1 second, I got it back. Oh, wait.
Okay, so if you spend most of your time on a computer, as so very many of us do, then that's a different type of task and a different way that we need to be set up. If you do two things in your office, then the illustration at the top here is a good way to set it up so that you have comfort while you're working on the computer, as well as a spot to write on, so that you don't actually have to move the keyboard and move things, so that you can sit and write something down. Or if you need to read, that you can actually just pivot a little bit and move to another area on the desk. Next. So the biggest amount of discomfort in the office is shoulder and back pain arises from poor posture while you're working, and improper height of work surfaces for the main activity. And you get shoulder pain and back pain. That's where it usually bothers people the most, as well as issues with carpal tunnel syndrome. Next. Next, please. Okay. So this slide shows you that the areas of pain in the circles that are on the left, the circles at the neck, the shoulder, the arms, and the reason for it being that the person who's sitting at this chair is sitting in a chair that's not deep enough to support them correctly. The one on the right, you can see the chair is deeper and it supports the man right to the back of his knee. And so when you don't have the right support, then you have hip issues. Also, the keyboard on top of the desk is too high. The keyboard should actually be below the desk surface, as you can see on the right, and that creates problems too high at the elbow, and that is how we often get carpal tunnel syndrome. Your elbow should be at a right angle and your hands lower and straight forward, so that you're not raising your shoulders, you're not raising your arms. The other thing that's really important is the height of the monitor. So when you have a standard monitor on a desk, it's much higher than if you just put a laptop down. And as you can see in the one where the gentleman is sitting on the right, his monitor is at eye level. He doesn't have to bend his head down all the time or lift his head up. And so these things are really critical to ongoing support of your body while you're working, especially if you're working for more than an hour. If you're there a couple of hours and you're working on something so often, we get absorbed in the task we've got doing. We don't move, we don't vary our position, and so we actually strain our body and don't know about it until hours later that we've actually pulled something or created discomfort. You know about it when you try to sleep at night, or if you've done it repetitively for a number of days when you have neck pain. Next, please. So a keyboard that is lower is really important, and they are very simply found at places like Staples. The one on the right is the one you can put on the bottom of any desktop. It just bolts the bottom surface height, and it also adjusts the mouse in different angles as well, so that you alleviate the issue with carpal tunnel syndrome, but also so that it adjusts for different heights for different users. Next, please. So desks that allow you to that's still made of fab, I think, but it comes from good thinking physically. Chiropractors will tell you that the adjustments for people sitting working on computers are very often to the back, to the neck, and repetitive stress creates disc problems. So being able to move is really helpful. It also, we're told now that sitting sedentary lifestyle is actually reduced smoking. It really shortens our lifespan, and it gives us problems with many different things other than just our back. Can we go one more, please? So one of the things I wanted to highlight also was that so many of us work on laptops these days. We don't actually work on stationary computers. and we just put them down on top of the desk surface. Or, and it's a misnomer actually, a laptop. A laptop for computer is only really good for short-term use. And that the reason for that is, as you can see, we've got a sore neck up in the illustration because it is too low. The monitor visuals is too low a height, but also laptops need to have the vents underneath them. They need to have air circulate around them. You can see the little fans that are there in the illustration on the bottom. There's a hard one and a mesh one, and then there's a laptop sitting in one. You don't need to have a fancy docking station in order to make the laptop work properly, but you actually do need to have a stand that raises and elevates it for your comfort, but also for the laptop. I discovered this one the hard way because I switched from a regular computer to a laptop working all the time, and my laptop kept overheating. And when I took it to the IT fellow, when it finally conked out and didn't work at all, there's a putty that's inside around the hard drive that is kind of grayish, and it's like putty, and it had all dried out and cracked to the point where it was no longer able to keep the hard drive cool. So it's and I have done that a couple of times before it gave up completely, but it could have been a very expensive problem if if it didn't have an automatic step that allowed it to shut off. So you actually shorten the life of your computer if you don't put it on a fan, and the fans are expensive. That's just a little, but then most people who work on a laptop know that a laptop shouldn't go flat on the desk. You feedback on that? Pardon?
I put
it flat on the desk?
Yes. Although most times it's in my lap, but yeah, I do put it flat on my desk.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, but do you work 4 or 5 hours at a time?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I didn't realize, but I do spend hours on it, and that means that's what it is. It's not just an hour that I'm there. Like if I'm doing a PowerPoint, I'll be working for a long time looking for it. So I do spend a lot of time on it, and now I have mine raised, and I don't have any problems. It vents itself, and it never overheats anymore. So it's just, also, mine's a little older, so maybe that's kind of a key. If you've got a new one, it's probably more efficient. The vents in it are more efficient. Next, please. Okay, so we're talking about clutter now, okay? Clutter is, the big thing that we struggle with, I think, and so I'm going to give you some ideas about why and maybe what we can do to help that. Next. Clutter wastes time. Let's talk, first of all, a little bit about why it's important. It's not just that it looks nicer, but there's a definite effect on productivity and a definite effect on wasting time and space. Time looking at things, obviously, after time cleaning up. It's a lot easier to clean and vacuum a room that doesn't have stuff sitting all over the floor. And the space is, you don't think about it, but very often we waste space when we have bad clutter. It's possibly that you've got things sitting on the floor in front of drawers or in front of doors, and you don't put things away because the door's locked or the door's locked. And so that space really is wasted at that point because you're not using it at all because there's too much in front of it. Next. So, it's a visual distraction and it wastes our energy. And this is probably the biggest factor that really affects efficiency, is that you focus on a task while you're looking for something. So while you're looking for that one thing that you're working on is on your agenda for the day, you realize as you go through piles and new things that, oh my gosh, something else has to be done, and you notice it, and you start to work on that. So you go down the rabbit hole of, oh, my emergency, I must take care of this before I get back to that, what I have to do. So you lose things, and when you find them, they become half due in terms of being able to take care of them. It's harder to concentrate in a room that is cluttered because you are distracted by things that you see that remind you about things. And it's very hard to ignore mess. Psychologically, we're told that things that annoy us that we try to ignore actually. Also, frustration is part of it. When you are frustrated because you can't find something you need right away, then it brings your energy trying to get back your focus and to put it aside. Some people are more easily frustrated than others, but I would hedge a bet that if you look in a cluttered space, you are more easily irritated too, just because there's a certain noise level of visual clutter around you that is always bombarding you and taking some energy to try and ignore. Next, please. And so there's an emotional cost as well of feeling negative about your space, feeling disorganized. There's a little voice in your head that says, well, you say that you have to get all this cleared up. And I think that you may tend to, it's not important, it doesn't matter, but I think most of us feel better in a space that has been cleared out. The guilt you mentioned, we're coming back to listen to the topic about this. Well, that's very interesting that you feel that you want to clean out just to do that. Hopefully, when we finish tonight, people will feel good about approaching the cleanup and not feel like, oh, it's one of those have-tos. I need to take an hour out of my time or 2 hours to do it, but they'll feel a little more positive about getting it done. But there's a reward to doing it rather than just like patting yourself on the back that I got it done. But, and that's part of it, but it's also it makes you feel better at your space. Next. So to just underscore the overwhelm part of it, overwhelm creates a void. When we feel bad somewhere, we kind of avoid it. So that's the situation where procrastination kicks in. I would warn that a lot of times people who procrastinate a lot don't like the space they're in. And it may be that part of it is discomfort physically that they're not aware of consciously, and a large part of it might just be that they're not happy there because they're not feeling comfortable. There's visually things around them that they're not happy. They need a break, they get away, and it's hard to get back. So, you go to the washroom and you think, oh, well, I'm right down and concentrate. So overwhelm and out from a space that's overwhelming leads to procrastination. So how do we handle that? Next. We develop clutter because we're going to the root of it. We develop clutter because we don't put things away. We don't for 4 main reasons. Next. They are one, that things don't have a home, that we haven't ever figured out how we want to put things, or we bring new things into the space and they've never been given a home. And so if you don't have space on your bookcase for a book, it'll sit on your desk. If you don't have a home that works because there's no space, that home is full, then the things will start to pile up until they get a home. The other thing is if the home is very inconvenient and it's free to put things away, like if it's too high to reach easily, or it's too low and it's inaccessible, or as there's clutter in front of it, then we tend to say, well, I'll put it away later. I'm just going to focus on this right now and get this done. And so we end up with piles to be dealt with later. And the other thing that is very common is if something needs to be done with something. I mean, you know that more often. One good example is if you have a library book and you know you need to take it back, and if you put it away on a shelf or you put it away in a drawer, you might forget that. So if you keep it on the edge of your desk, every time you see it, you're reminded you need to take care of that, you need to go somewhere. Or something has been brought in that needs to be fixed or needs to be adjusted, it needs to have something done to it. We tend to leave it out so that we can get that done. And a good way to handle that, and I used to have that issue with samples that I would take out to show clients, and then not put away when I brought them back because I needed to make notes or I needed to do something with them, is that I found a spot where I could, like a holding area. In office planning, and my background is in office design before I went into residential design, is to create in-house boxes for mail, let's say, things that are going out, things that are coming in that haven't been looked at. So there are holding areas for things. And so often we don't allow for that space. Holding an empty shelf that is simply for things coming and going, or an empty space. And if we don't create the empty space, it will occupy other space that belongs to other things, or our desktop, so that we can't do our work because we've got piles of things that we can take care of. So a simple solution for things that are coming and going is to just accommodate them, to actually allow space for them. Next, please. So there are 2 really important things for storage that are going to help to eliminate clutter, and it is the secret to having less clutter, to having proper storage that we need. And one is to design around the person who uses the space so that you'll maintain the storage. A lot of storage techniques and a lot of things that are being taught to people about organizing are done by people who have a very set way of looking at how what systems should be set up. And if they don't suit the temperament of the person who's working on the space, it doesn't matter how great a system is designed. You just won't, if it's too complex or if it doesn't suit the person using the space, they won't pick it up. Next. And the second part is to make it easy. I mean, first of all, you make it easy when you suit the temperament, but you also make it easy when the spaces suit the things that are being put away. And if you have a specialized task that you do, you may need something other than a file drawer. And so if baskets or cubbies or things like that are the best things to put away and keep, say for instance, if you want to keep the paper flat, then vertical storage isn't the easiest way to do that. Flat storage, like the cubbies you see in the illustration there, are really better for keeping paper flat. And so what you'll find happening is if you don't have the right kind of storage for what you want, you'll end up leaving it out so that it doesn't get creased or doesn't get dealt with in a way that's going to make it not look good afterwards. One of the prime examples of that is in your closet. If your closet's too stuffed with things, you won't put things away because they'll get creased when you put them away. Excuse me, next, I'm going to take a few of them. So, the storage needs to be suited to the things that are stored, but also the person. So this is what I call your organizational style. Next, please. And your organizational style is how you organize as a person, and it really is how you see the world, too. It isn't just how you organize things, but it's how you approach things, tasks that you do, and it's how, whatever makes you feel most organized and most, how you would feel in a room when you walk into that space if it's set up a certain way. Next. And it really is dominant based on whether or not you're left brain or right brain. And you've all heard about that sort of distinction, that left brain people are more what we call structured people, and right brain more the creative type. Next. So, two different types look like this. In this particular example, the two environments are very organized, but in very different ways. The one on the left is the left brain, and the one on the right is more of a right brain environment. The left brain person is somebody who likes to be behind closed doors. And the right brain is somebody who actually doesn't see the world quite that way. Next, please. So if we focus on the left brain for a minute and talk a little bit about that personality type, it makes sense. And so it's also, if you are a right brain person, understanding the left brain, neither one is right or wrong, it's just how you approach the world. So the left brain individual doesn't really want to see anything out other than something they actually use to do a job. And if they use it all the time, they'll keep it out, and if they don't, they won't put it away. I do so much work with couples. It's very interesting because couples, I find the opposite attract. It's quite true opposite. And you will find a left brain person married to a right brain person very often. And I do a lot of kitchen design. And so that's an interesting place where they both work and both feel very differently about how things should work. But this office setup here is very well done for both parties, but really suited more to a left brain individual. Everything is out of sight other than the things that are needed to be on the desktop. So the right brain individual prefers to see things, and that's because if they feel tools and equipment should be visible and close to hand. Convenience means model. The left brain person will say organize, 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 and the right brain person will say convenient, convenient. And so you'll see that it's not just about convenience, though, for a person who is more visual or right brain. They like to see interesting things and textures and colors around them. They don't like to have everything behind doors. In fact, it bothers them. And if you set up a system for them, or if you set up a system for yourself where you put everything in file drawers, you will find that you won't be putting them away in the file drawers. Most of the people who are right brain people like to see plants, they like to see pictures of their family. These are the things that make them feel comfortable in the environment. And so they look at things differently and how they want to be surrounded with things differently. Next. So the comparison between the two, are you thinking what kind you are?
I'm definitely a left brain, 100%. My husband's a right brain, and our offices, we can't share an office. Things are on my wall because I think they belong on my wall. Do I ever look at them? No.
Right.
But
Well, you'll recognize it even more, I think, in the next slide. But sometimes the visual of a room setup, a person who's very left brain will look at a room with all kinds of things out on shelves and go, oh, I just want to see doors on it all. You know? Yeah. So anybody who's listening, and everyone who's listening, probably figured out very quickly where they stand and what they like. And then there are a few of us who work both ways. You know, like interesting. And we may be people who are organizers, and yet we still are visually more visual, and so we like some texture and color. But this isn't just about what we like to see, it's about how we work, right? And so a left-brain person is an organizer and a person who prompts themselves with a list. They're very happy making lists. They like it. They like to write something down. They love to check it off when it's done. And you'll find the right-brain person doesn't like that very much. Maybe they had a parent or they have a partner who likes to write lists for them, and they think, oh gosh, lists, for goodness sake, let me just do what has to be done. Never mind writing all these lists. And you'll find that a left-brain person spends time figuring out how to put things away well so that they can find them. And the right-brain person is somebody who gets a disorder with tasks they're asked, often running behind on things, and they just grab and run. They come in, they drop, and they want to move on to something else. And so the left brain is a linear thinker. This person does one thing at a time. The right brain is a person who likes to see things to remind them, not the list, and they are worried that if they put things away, they won't remember them. They won't think about what to do. And of course, the left brain person will look at them and say, why don't you just make a list? Why don't you just write it down somewhere? The right brain person is likely to make the list and lose it. So, I mean, you know, that might help their memory, but they're not likely to have a list that they keep referring back to. So the left brain person doesn't like distractions, and that's how they like to work. And so things around them bother them more, distract them more, whereas the right brain person wants to have the things there. They want to have them so they can see them, so they can get them very easily. And so the visual person who's right brain wants to do many things at once and bothered by two things around. However, a system that gets somewhat organized just needs to take that into account. So they may have many more open shelves. They may have things that are easier to get on the desktop, and the left brain person might get them better behind in a file cabinet, neatly, even color-coded maybe, or something along that line. So when people who are very left brain create organizing systems, and the left brain person is usually the person who's likely to be an organizer, if you will, because that's the way their mind works, and that's what they love to do. When the right brain person looks at it and goes, wow, that's a great idea, then it's not me, it's happening, I'm not going to be keeping that up. And so I think the creativity of how to organize it so that it can be close at hand, you can see it when you need to see it, and you can also feel comfortable in your environment, and you want to work in the environment. A left brain person, to understand them, they don't want to work in an environment with too much room. And so the right brain person would say, your space feels very sterile to me. It doesn't feel like a place I want to go to. It's just so cold. So the minimalist is very often like the left brain organizer, and the person who is very lots of color, lots of texture is going to be a right brain person. So if we set up systems that work for them, and I use the word system very loosely, a system is just a way of organizing things, not necessarily the file systems alphabetically done. I'll give you a really good example from my past. I had somebody come to work with me who was a left brain organizer, and she was organizing my books in my library. And I went away one day for hours and came back, and she was so excited. She said, I've organized all of your books for you. I'm now able to find things. And she had organized them by title, alphabetically. And I looked at the bookcases and I was horrified. It's like, oh my God, I don't remember all exactly the titles, or I wouldn't know who all the authors were. I had them grouped by subject and by size. And we size, I visually organized them and knew what went where. And I hadn't a clue where anything was, and she just thought she had gotten me all organized. It's very interesting. So this is a difference in the approach. Next one. Okay, so let's look at some things you can use. Upper bins. Upper bins are great, like you saw in the first one. But if you are a left-brain person, you'll love it. Behind closed doors, solid doors, don't want to see what's behind. If you are the right-brain type of person, you prefer more open doors, or even some see-through. If you use boxes that are a little more see-through are more helpful. And things like cubbies, like the one on the bottom left, where you some of it's closed, some of it's open, are kind of that compromise. Next, please. And this is more what the right-brain person would like to have. The kind of open cubbies, slots where you put things in, baskets where you pull them down and you rifle through, and have to stand up. And so that kind of thing where things are accessible, they're right on the desktop, you can pull them towards you, go through them, whereas a left-brain organizer is likely to want the desk here, get up, take 5 steps, go to a file cabinet, open the drawer, and go into it. So it's just a different way of looking at expediency versus feeling an uncluttered, open, clean environment. Next, please. So here's an example that would work for somebody who's more right-brain. So the one on the left of these illustrations has more closed pockets. The one on the right is completely open, and you don't have to go into a drawer to get your scissors or your staplers. They're on the wall. And as I say, I think most left-brain people would look at that and go, I didn't want to see those things. Why don't you put them neatly away in the drawer and you'll know where they are? The right-brain person, if they have the scissors and the little bits and pieces in the drawers, they're likely to forget which drawer they're in anyway, or to leave them on the desk underneath things. And if they have it placed right in front of them when they use them a lot, I mean, the key is to use them a lot, to have them out, they're more suitable for them where they can actually see them. Next. So here's just some other ways of using walls that are not necessarily cabinets, that are relatively inexpensive, pockets possibly, and or these sleeves. Next. And here's an example that I wanted to show of 2 situations. If you give me a closet, I'll give you an office. These are basically both very small spaces, but ways, and they are set up so that everything is open and easy to get at and reach while you're there, within arm's reach. But both of them can be closed off. And on the left, it's 2 doors that close over the office, and on the right, it's a sliding surgery screen. What is great about the doors is that when you open them, you can use your vacuum for organizing. You can use pockets, you can use, put your calendar, use magnets, that sort of thing. But it's a way of creating an office environment that is open while you're working and closed up and no longer visible when you don't want to do one. Next. Again, a magnet, whiteboards, all of those are ways of using the wall space as opposed to a desk calendar. Some people really, a lot of people right now work with calendars, and they work on their computer calendars or their electronic calendars. For some people, I would have to say the right brain people would like to see visual workflow. They like to see, things in front of them, and so this would be more of a right brain kind of way of organizing space and time, looking at their time organization. There are great calendars now where you block off things and use color blocks to indicate different tasks that are happening. On desk, if you really like to have the file on the desk and not in a file cabinet, then these are a couple of different ways that you can actually keep paper on the desk. And the one on the left is actually 3 pockets is probably about the maximum you want to put, because then you can remember, especially if you are a right brain person, what's in each one. One of the problems with right brain people is they'll have lots of cubbies and lots of pockets, and you're not really. It's not in nature to label everything well. The left brain person will label things well. So if you've got too many pockets, you forget what's in each one, and then what happens is everything gets all mixed up, so you can't find anything. It's just one step beyond getting it all on the desk. Yep. So here are just some other ways that you can organize your desk that are more readily available. Calculator, or if you use it a lot, is right there. Stickies. I'd say the little cubbies are helpful. The file folders, the file bins that are not in a cabinet that can be moved, are actually quite good because you bring it in front of you and you can go through, put things away, and then you can go and put it on the shelf or you can go and put it in the drawer. And the organizer on the right tab is actually quite a good one for all of the things that you might be using all the time on the desk rather than having them piled on top of it. Next. If you have questions, please ask the questions. I mean, I'm doing a lot of talking here, and I'm open to answering anything that anybody wants to ask about. This is just a review of the actual physical stuff to prioritize the function, determine storage needs, so that's design and get a system that matches the user. So I'd like to talk now a little bit about mindset, which is the other part of this. Next week. So the mindset, our definition of mindset is how we handle things. Mindset actually is also left to right brain as well. But it's how we look at the world in terms of how we see opportunities and how we tend our default for how we approach them. Whether we see problems as opportunities or whether we see them as overwhelming. Next. So success mindset is growth-oriented, problem-solving, opportunity-focused. So when a problem arises, somebody who is of a very positive mindset will approach the problem and say, wow, this is really challenging. It's great to figure out how it's going to come about. And they have positive expectations. If you don't have a positive success mindset, you're more likely to be overwhelmed by problems coming up. And that will happen if we're too stressed. So that's another thing that factors into it. Stress can affect your mindset, and it may not be all the time. So our environment is connected to motivation, and our space is also very much the Institute for the Quality of Life looks at this and basically has determined that our sense of space determines how we feel about ourselves and basically affects our mindset tonight. So next week. So these are things that we can do. The uncluttered space we've talked about. Aromatherapy, color psychology, visual motivators, all of these things help. Next. I'll just run through it fairly quickly. Aromatherapy is an ancient and it actually is not just our wounds. There was a doctor in the Second World War who discovered that when they were short of anesthetic and they used different herbs because of their medicinal properties, they discovered that it had a tremendous effect on the mindset, on lifting spirits or on even stress. And so it affects our mood and our emotions. Next. Diffusers are the best way to do it rather than burning oil because the diffuser keeps the therapeutic value of essential oils. The different essential oils are very different from perfume. They actually affect the brain and they affect our emotions. So we can do it two ways, energize or relax. And that depends on the function that you're doing and the temperament of the person. So if you want to soothe energy and cause yourself to relax more and stay with the task, then something relaxing will do that for you, something like a rose or a lavender. And if you need to lift energy and energize because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and that's your period where you just feel low, then grapefruit, citrus, lemon, and sometimes you want to blend the two. You put together the lemon and the lavender together so that you have staying power in soothing your impatience or whatever. Peppermint is very well known to give you energy, but if you're a type A personality, it will actually get you to the point where you're really packed out. You don't want to sit and do paperwork, and you're not going to be able to do your accounting if you peppermint into the air. Next. So these are the ones for mental focus, and so they help with focus, they help with clarity, and they help you to stay at the task, especially if it's a tedious task you don't like to do. And I discovered this when I used to teach interior design and had to spend hours and hours in margin. So you'll find that lemon helps you. Again, it's an uplifting one without being too peppy. And so if people would like some of these slides with the information on them, I'm happy to send them. I have a package of about 8 or 10 of the overall overview slides that give you this information and a couple of other things coming up. And so if you can arrange that, Joanna, that would be okay. If they want to send me an email, and I'm happy to send them so that you don't have to try and scribble and write this down.
Yes.
Okay, so sage, basil, and rosemary are really good for focus. Next. And so motivating posters, I mean, I think a lot of us have become familiar in the last number of years about affirmations and posters. Looking up and seeing something that gives you a positive feeling, just as helpful as having an uncluttered space. So these things are available in most of the poster shops or online. And if you find them online, you can always print them and put them up. I take bookcase shelves that are cluttered with a lot of books and will take something that I like I'm learning to step out of my comfort zone. And I will print it and put it on a piece of Bristol board and put it in front of the book. So I wedge it into the shelf so that it cleans up and gives me something to look at that I enjoy seeing. Right now I'm looking at one that's all these new colors right behind the computer here. Next. So the other thing is to use affirmations that you like, that give you, good feelings. Quotes from Einstein, Oprah, whoever might be your banner, and to use visual images of success, visual images of happiness. Put them in the space. If you are a right-brain person, you might put them on something on your desk, in a picture frame, or you might use them as a screensaver. Next. And there's a couple of things that you may not be thinking about that are helpful. And one of them is to play music on your computer or whatever you play music on. That relaxes you. So if you have a tedious task to do, using a sense that gives you a time that will help you alter your mood and help keep you calm is good. But also, if you combine a task that with a sound and with a sense, when you start the music and you put the sync on your diffuser, you are actually setting your psyche to do that task. And so that actually helps you transition. That's the NLP anchoring technique that will help you to actually do things or be more relaxed as you're doing things and give you a sort of, we do it with children. We create rituals for bedtime, transition from busyness. So sometimes just listen to the right music while you're trying to do something in the background that helps to give you more energy if you're tired or set your energy lower will be helpful to getting work done. Timers, small chunks of tasks that you have terrible, you're terrible tasks that you have to do. And then your buddy system, is another way of a success ritual that if you need to get something done, call a buddy in the morning and say, by the end of the day, I'm going to get this done. Exchange tasks with them, or the kind of mastermind thing where you set a goal and you have something to do accountable. Next. Color. I don't have a lot of time left, as you see. So color, I can't spend a lot of time on it. I wish I could. We could spend the whole time on color. But there's two ways that we can use color in our environment, and one is the walls, painting them with color so that they have an effect, and that is a personal thing as well. That the temperament that you are and who you are will be how you relate to color differently from somebody else. And so yellow walls are soothing for some people. And so if you learn about color and how it brings energy to a room, you can choose a color that actually is chosen specifically, not because you love the color, and the circle on the bottom here shows a little bit of that, it's a line color with personality. And in the sales field, people do that, and we're aware of that. If you're talking to somebody who is a green, if you're talking to somebody who is a yellow, then to address them a certain way, or to give them, a certain type of information in a certain way. It's helpful to speaking their language, you're connecting with them. I think there's been quite a bit written about colors in terms of that kind of thing. Next, please. The circle is the one that okay. So orange stimulates creativity. This might be something you would use very strong colors in small amounts. And then the next one, color, tells you a website that you can visit. It's fascinating, actually. It's a site that will give you information on the psychological aspect of color, tell you about how the energy affects space, and about the 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 vibration that it has, color person you are. It doesn't keep changing. Next slide. Or is a slide not too?
Sorry, I feel like I can't hear you, Sheila. Hold on.
And so that's what I wondered here. So this particular website, Empower Yourself with Color Psychology, is what I was talking about. It's a fascinating place to go, and will give you all kinds of information on your personality and about how to work with color depending on who you are and how color works. Empower yourself with color psychology. Can you hear me?
I can hear you off and on. I feel like you're frozen. Hold on a second, or is it me?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I can't really hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, I can
I
kind of
can hear
off and on.
you.
I'm hearing you off and on, but you're frozen on my...
One more? One more?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Wow, we're having audio stuff. Okay. Oh, wow. Let's go to the next one?
Yes, we're on the next one.
Okay, can we go one more?
Perfect. I feel like... Oh.
The next one, I wanted to invite people to come to join me in a forum on Facebook where I can answer questions.
I heard that.
Oh,
I heard that.
okay.
What we'll do is I will have...
That one.
Oh
my! Now it's going on. Oh my! Okay.
Back. So what I'll do is I will have this presentation on our YouTube channel, probably within the hour, and people will be able to see the slides going forward. But I will send an email probably Friday with everyone who registered with all your information, as well as a link to the video on YouTube so that they can watch it. And what you can do is you can send me.
Oh, okay.
You can send me any information you'd like me to include in the email, and I'll make sure that happens.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, can people ask questions, or we're out of time anyway, I think, too?
I think, yes, we are out of time, but what I'll do is I will have them, they can post questions under the YouTube link. I know I did have a question. I wanted to know how you would be able to, if you're sharing a space and one is left brain and one is right brain, like how will that really work?
You try to find things that work for, like the idea of a bookcase or an upper cabinet where you can open the doors while you're working and see everything, and then when you want to clear it up, close the door. So that when you're not doing the task, that kind of thing really helps. Using containers to store things in boxes that are see-through, so that the person who is very right brain knows what's in there because they can see certain colors, but the person who's left brain is somewhat filtered, so they're not, they're not seeing everything in living color kind of, right? So I work with and give them two separate places to sit. Rather than that, right?
I was just thinking it would
Yeah,
be an unsafe experience to share an office with my husband because we're so different. It would freak me out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How well do you work in the kitchen together would be the question I would
We
ask.
don't. We don't.
Right.
I do that. We just don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Or we
yeah.
wait our turns. We wait our turn.
Okay, right. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been enlightening. I'm really going to start cleaning up the rest of my office. And it's funny, I just said to my husband yesterday that I need to go to Storage Solutions and find better storage solutions for my space because I like things tucked away. I like not seeing things. I like things in its place. So I need to get on it. Promise by the end of the year, it will be a transformation in here.
Right. And well, one of the things to ask is how often do I use it? And if it's not very often, put it in, give prime real estate in the office to the things you use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't use it very often, put it in the more inaccessible spot.
You're right.
That's one of the cardinal rules. Make sure that what's close to you and easy to get is the stuff that you need to get at the time.
Pretty good. This has been enlightening. I would like to thank you so much for joining us. As I said, I will follow up with an email and I will send the link to everyone and any information you'd like me to include. Please send it to me and I'll make sure it all gets out.
Okay, great, great. And I will put the address to the Facebook group, a link to the Facebook group, because people can go there and ask questions. I monitor it and I answer the questions. Right.
Excellent. So
and then on my website, right?
Send me the link
yeah.
you'd like me to include, and I'll include them in the email.
Okay, that's terrific. That's great. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us. Everyone.
We haven't been glitching, but it's retrograde or something like that.
This is going to be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.